What's up, summoners? King Blair here. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the three basically god tier units of Abyss. That if you have these units, you basically can clear every stage of Abyss with ease, with several team comps. They're almost unmatched, and you'll basically be taking them anywhere you go. We'll also cover some replacement for each of the units. If you don't have these units, that can kind of help you fill the role, but we'll never quite be to the point of these units. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I really had trouble deciding whether I wanted to cover all the units, but then I saw that video was a 30-40 minute video and I was like, okay, I can't do this. So we're gonna look at the god tier units and then go from there. So first up, probably one of the best single target damage dealers that you will be hard pressed that you will ever find a stage that you're like, I don't want my single target unit, and that is going to be Luna. So she is limited, which is why I'm going to give you guys potential replacements. But let's just talk about it. So, why is Luna a godlike unit for Abyss? She has the highest single target DPS of any other character in this game, and that's just the fact of it. Like, you won't for bosses, you won't find another unit that just does so much single target damage like Luna. And she can pair up so well with so many different team combinations that as long as you have her and you have a team that can survive, you can put three Soul Weavers plus Luna, and you'll probably beat that Abyss stage, despite of whatever gimmick it has. Just because she does that much damage, and the fact that she doesn't apply debuffs, besides her third skill, which is optional, and thus is not part of her DPS, that makes her so much better. So the first skill, legit, just straight up damage. That's all it does. This first skill, insane single target damage. This skill gives you crit rate, so it's easier to build her. You can put a ton of critical crit damage, and do amazing. And then when she's low health, she's just chilling. Also, her stats are like out of this world, y'all. Like super good health, pretty good attack, just solid. The crit chance basically gets boosted by this stat. So it's a 35% crit rate. And then the third skill, being able to decrease defense with a 100% chance, that just basically means that she's able to set up decreased defense and then she's able to take down the boss herself. You add Daydream Joker to this, GG. You're clearing that boss in like 4 or 5 overturns. And then you can just archy the, like, y'all have to see it in action. I'm pretty sure you can just look up at any guide and Luna will probably be in there because she just does that much damage single target. But you might be wondering, hey, I didn't play when she was around. I didn't have bookmarks to pull for her. What do I use? Right? So there is her counterpart, which is basically free to play Luna and what everyone used to use before Luna came out. And that is going to be Commander Lorina. She is a really good single target DPS, not on the same level as Luna, because Luna just the defense break and the amount of like you'll have to see it for yourselves. It's just not okay how much damage that third skill can do, especially when it does the third hit. It's nutty. But Commander Lorena, basically the same thing with some added versatility, just not as much damage output. The added versatility comes from the fact that she increases her own combat readiness, so she's able to get more turns to the point where she almost does the same DPS as Luna, and she's able to decrease the combat readiness of the boss, which comes in handy pretty freaking well. And like Luna, she also buffs up her stat. In her case, attack, which means that it's a little bit harder to build her because her crit rate doesn't go as high. 23%. She gets that 8% from the awakening, but she doesn't have the same level that Luna does. But still, really, really solid option. Can do basically the same work. It just takes a little bit better gear to pull it off. Whereas Luna, you can get like I literally have my Luna on trash gear, and she was able to clear like stage 90. I was like, what the heck? Like, how is this possible? For Commander Lorena, you're gonna need a little bit better than your side sets. Uh, but that is for the DPS aspect of it. For the Soul Weaver aspect of it, there is no better Soul Weaver in this game to take into Abyss than Tamarine. I just like if you have Tamarine, Abyss goes from kind of a challenge to being like a stat check. It literally becomes a stat check when you have Tamarine because she just fulfills all the roles your team needs. You can almost slap any type of team comp, and you'll probably put Tamarine in there, and it'll work some way because you have Tamarine. And it really is rough because I would struggle so much with the Abyss. And then I got Tamarine, and I was like, okay, what's the big deal? And I tried her out. I was able to clear stages that I was trying to mess around with the other units because she just did so much that it was like, I gotta put her in. Like, it's like I would take out all my other Soul Weavers if I could just have Tamarine. So let's just cover why it's so good. So two forms, super amazing because she's able to do two different things. So on her base form, she kind of stinks in her base form. Not gonna lie, she's kind of bad in her base form, but still, she does her job. First skill, lowest health ally gets some health. That's what you want a Soul Weaver to do. Just heal, you know. Second skill, AOE heal. You know, not a lot you could ask. That's kind of what you want from a Soul Weaver. Just heal, you know. So that base skill will essentially cover most of your works for a Soul Weaver, although not the best. Where she really shines is when she gets this third skill up, which with a lot of management, she gets the skill up pretty fast, but basically goes into her new form and removes debuffs. So she has heals, she has a way to remove debuffs, and then she gets insane abilities afterwards. Her second skill, when it's in her idle form, she gives everyone on the team basically caps out their health. If you use this skill and your team's like close to dying, they'll basically be capped off. I've used this skill and it's gotten me out of such bad scenarios. And it's like I'll be losing, and then I'll get Tamarine's third effect up, remove all debuffs. Second skill, boom, my whole team gets 50% combat readiness. Everyone's topped off on health, and they all have attack buff. Like, and that's on the second skill, y'all. And you can do that twice before she loses her form. It's just insane. And on top of all of that, her dual attack, her other skill in her other form, AoE strip buff, trigger dual attack with the highest damage. So you're talking about Luna. Luna gets basically a pseudo extra turn to do more damage on the boss, and then she just strips all the buffs from the opponent. Like, in terms of PvE content, Tamarine is number one best unit in Abyss. No debate. There's no. I don't think. I'll be hard pressed. I want someone. I challenge my comment section. Find one stage in all of Abyss where Tamarine wouldn't be a good choice. And I guarantee you won't be able to find that. There is not a single stage where you don't want Tamarine. And that's how good she is. So if they're hyping her up and saying all that, does she have a replacement? Can you clear Abyss without her? Yes, she has some pretty good replacements on the side. One of the big ones, which she also works really well with, is Diene. Diene doesn't have as much as the healing potential that Tamarine does, but she does have a lot of the same things. She is able to put a barrier up, so make sure your team doesn't die. This barrier also removes debuffs. Not as many as Tamarine, but removes one. And then the third skill, attack buff. So basically, it's like you take Tamarine's second form, you put it on another character, and then you kind of like nerf it. And then you get Diene. That's how good Tamarine is. Diene is basically like half her kit, where it's like if you want the buff side and the barrier side, Diene will be able to do that for you. She's also limited, so I know it's a lot harder. For the other Soul Weaver, where you can actually get pretty far in Abyss with just this single manning this Soul Weaver plus any other Soul Weaver, is going to be Angelic Montmorency. This one is free to play, and she's also super duper broken. And she's more on the healing support side, where she's able to remove debuffs basically every single turn because her skill tree lets her get an extra, basically lowers the skill by one, has a pretty big chance of doing it. And the third skill, usually you cycle between the two, and then with Tonga's Tome, you're able to just cycle between the two super duper fast. And your team will very rarely be debuffed or low health. So you basically pair her up with any other buffing unit, and you'll basically have a Tamarine. But you'll have to realize that's basically two Soul Weavers that you're using for the job that one Soul Weaver does. That's how good Tamarine is. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I used to not have Tamarine, and I got to stage 90, and I could not get past stage 90. And the second I got Tamarine, I was able to decrease my. I was using the Diene and Montmorency. I took off both of them. I just put in. I changed the Diene for the Tamarine, and it was a piece of cake. Like I was able to clear my first try. So yes, she doesn't really have that much of a replacement, but you can work without her and still get pretty far in Abyss. It'll just be a lot harder. And then last but not least, I know some of you are gonna be like, "Are you serious? This is who you're gonna say is your last cheese strat?" But yes, a cheese strat that is so good for Abyss that I regret not having used it, and that is going to be Curious. Y'all, Curious is not okay. Curious is basically the free to play way to clear Abyss while being under level. She is probably, if you ask me, coming into the game and you're a new player and you're like, hey, I want the lowest commitment to be able to clear the most Abyss stages. What character should I build? I would tell you to build Curious because she's just able to cheese you wins out of bosses that normally require insane amount of strategizing, archy manipulation, soul manipulation, debuff buff manipulation, and Curious just comes in and it's like, nah, just poison, just kill the. She's, if y'all seen videos, it's really fun to watch. I actually really enjoy watching Curious because she's just literally able to apply so many debuffs to the opponent to the point where it's like they're just gonna die. So what does she do? First skill, poison. At first you're like 50% poison. That looks kind of bad, right? Then you look at her third skill, which is it's on a pretty high turn cooldown, on a 4-turn cooldown. Gives her an extra turn, and it strengthens the next attack. But what does this next attack do? Her first skill, Venomous Arrow, goes from having 50 to 100% chance, so you're gonna land that, and the effect goes up to 3. So that means on one move, so you use preparation, you use this skill, slap that on, that's three poison effects, 2 turns each. If you didn't know, poison does 5% of max health. That means right off the bat, fight starts, you enter the boss, Kira's third skill, Kira's first skill. They have 3 debuffs for 2 turns. That's 15% every turn. And that goes up to 30% in 2 turns. Right? And then the second skill, to top it all off, extends debuff duration, and with a Soulborn, you can make it ignore effect resistance. So let me play this in your head. You come in with Curious, you use the third skill, you use the first skill, boom, 3 poison stacks, right? And then let's say you got a Lots. You know, this guy Lots? Yeah, y'all remember him, right? This Soul Weaver that no one uses? You come in with the Lots, which, like, who's Lots, you know? Like, what does he even do? You come in and you do this the second skill. Gives her an extra turn, right? So she attacks again, gets another poison, and then you do another rotation. You come back to Curious, and then she has her third skill back up because it's 4-turn cooldown, but it's 4 turns you use it. She gets an extra turn. First skill that goes down to 3 turns now, or wait, it's 4 turns. So for 4 turns, boom, rotation. It's a 3-turn cooldown. When she gets an extra turn, first skill that's on a 2-turn cooldown, extra turn with a thing that's on a 1-turn cooldown, and another turn you'll be able to get it again. And you're able to have different characters that give her combat readiness, and just be able to stack the bus with poison, and then you just win. Like, you don't need no Arky. Arky's like a detriment to you. And then this skill in the middle, you do this skill, extend those poisons by 2 turns. So just even if you don't have the Lots, you literally just do this skill, get 1 more of these, use Corrosive Arrow. Let's say that's 4 turns of poison for 3 turns each. That's 20% every turn. So that's 60%. And then by the time the poison's done, you have the skill again. So in 4 or 5 turns, you kill any boss on Abyss. She's crazy, y'all. If y'all haven't seen her before, go watch a video. Go watch some Curious Cheese. It's nuts. It's so fun to watch. I love watching it. But at the same time, I hate it because it's like you can basically use one team for all of Abyss, and it will probably work. And that's the power of Curious. That's the power of Curious Cheese. And what's so amazing about her. But besides that, as far as her, there is no replacement. There's no other unit that does what Curious does. There's no other unit that's gonna stack like 5 freaking turns of poison. There's no unit that does. I can't think of a unit that just does like 5 turns of poison. Like what the heck? Oh, and then oh, I even forgot to mention another really good Abyss unit, which is not God tier, but she's really solid, is Dizzy. You pair this up with Curious, you get a Dizzy Curious, slap a Tamarine on there, and then put another put a Knight just so your team doesn't die. GG. You won Abyss. You can with that team you can clear 99% of Abyss. The only stages you can't clear are the stages that like with Cess where they just clear their debuffs. That's it. That's the only stages you can't clear and you actually have to try. So like out of Abyss, there's only like 2 or 3 stages that you can't clear because the boss mechanic doesn't let you. That's a pretty good, pretty good investment. For investing in one team, you can clear 95% of Abyss. So, yeah. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe out there, y'all. Peace.